Hello everybody, welcome back to Terrain by Aaron. This is the channel where I make stuff out of... whoa, hang on now. What is this sat on my desk? Okay, it's a Star Wars X-Wing model kit, level 3. Yeah, well, I'm still level 1. Usually I make stuff out of plastic bottle tops and stuff like that, so this week is a total departure on 2 levels. The second level we'll get to very shortly, so I guess I best read the instructions and get this X-Wing built. So let's start scratching that build. So first things first, get it out of the plastic and see what we got. So yeah, it's only a small one. The model, it's only a small model. Just to reiterate, it's a smallish model. I've no idea what scale it is because I don't do scales. So anyway, let's do a quick montage of me putting this bad boy together. It came quickly apparent that I would have to paint stuff before I glued other stuff together. So I'm just putting the cockpit in there and just painting it black, just to get rid of that bit, and then I can glue that into the actual main body of the X-Wing. And here's a little tip for everybody that has chubby little hands like myself. Don't be getting this size scale model because it is a nightmare to do all the little fiddly bits. Anyway, moving on. Onto the wings now, and just clipping them all off the sprue. I'm gonna clean them up and then just paint the inside bits. You know, like in the films they have bits of panels that is grey and that sort of stuff. And then once all that's dried, I'm going to put the transfers on and then just slightly distress them. And before I get comments saying I'm putting the transfers on wrong, probably am, but this is how I put them on because I've watched people put them on masterfully, and I still can't get the hang of it. So this is how I'll put the transfers on, and at least they're stuck on and stayed on. And I kept this bit in just to show you that still after 1 year in doing this YouTube stuff, I cock up the camera angle and get everything wrong. So the ace filmer photographer that I am, this was me distressing the wing of the transfer that you can't see. Let's move on. Realizing my earlier mistake, I reshot it and got it in frame actually this time. So what I'm doing is I'm just using a bit of grey acrylic paint, and I'm just chipping the transfers just to give it that little bit of worn, used sort of spaceshipy look. Then it was on to the weathering, and just got the black powder out and just distressed this spaceship as best I could. With only the last piece of the model to go into place, which it did, and there was no extra pieces left about, job was done and it was on to making a diorama. So I got this very cheap photo frame that would act as the base for the diorama, and then just quickly sketched out where I wanted the rocks and where I wanted the water. Water. That's the second part to this, is the resin pour. So I had to make sure that everything was sealed, so got the hot glue gun out and sealed it up. And when I say I sealed all the edges up, I sealed all the edges up. I did the bottom first twice, and then used gaffer tape to cover the underneath, and then went around about 3 times with the hot glue gun just to make sure that there was going to be no leaks. Once I put the first bit of the base down, then I just added random offcuts of XPS foam. This is an A4 size piece that was cut down that I managed to get from Green Stuff World. Still can't get it from Amazon, which is a nightmare. if anybody knows of any places, do let me know, because I really do want some XPS foam. I've got some ideas that need that sort of stuff, so if you know where I can get it and send it to Ireland, please drop me a line. I got this again cheap from Amazon, and it's a hot foam wire cutter. Uses batteries, and hang on, not those kind of batteries. Hold on a second. So as I was saying, this is a hot foam wire cutter. You just put these proper batteries in, and yeah, it oh dear, I can't believe I'm struggling. I make all sorts of different models, and I can't put 2 batteries into this. Don't touch the wire at the top, because that gets extremely hot, and there we go, it just glides through like butter, as they say. So I just cut all this down using this little tool. Had a lot of fun with it, and yep, I can say that it actually works. Oh, and I must add that I was wearing a mask while I was cutting this, because the fumes that it gives off isn't too good to breathe in. So now what I'm going to do is just get some plaster, cheap plaster from the cheapo shop, and just cake it all with this plaster, just to give it some texture. And then once everything was dried, I just covered it all in a lot of Mod Podge, just to try and make sure that nothing was going to leak. So yep, just caked it all in Mod Podge, let that dry, and then it was on to the next bit. To make it look like it was some weirdy, strange planet, I cut down some string and just Mod Podged it all onto the diorama. Kept adding stuff until it looked like this, and then it was just a base coat of I think it was burnt sienna. I went over it again with a lighter colour of this, just to give it a bit of depth and whatever, just until I thought it looked okay. And then once all that had dried, it was on to the resin. Since it was my first time using resin, I got this one. It was a 1:1 ratio, cures in 24 hours or so it says. So let's see what we got in the box. So it comes with everything that you're going to need, which was good because I had no idea. So measuring cups, the actual resin itself, and some dye, some paints, and some dropper bottles, and some stirring sticks, and some destructions again. So I'll just read the destructions first and get back to you. Okay, destructions read. It was time to get real, and first things first was put some gloves on. These aren't the gloves that came with the pack. I've just used these because I've got lots of these. So here we go. A and B. I'm going to pour equal amounts of A and B into these measuring cups, and then they're going to go into the main cup. And the instructions said to stir for at least 3 minutes, let the bubbles come to the surface, and then squish the bubbles before you pour onto whatever you're pouring into. So let's go. So I'm going to pour part A. Oh, hang on now, was it B? Was it part A or B? Well, it was one of the two parts. That goes into the cup, and then I'm going to pour the other one, which I'm hoping is B, which I guess is the hardener. One of them's the hardener. Oh, this is so tricky. Anyway, get them both together and then stir them for a good 3 minutes. I'll get back to you. I must stress that I sped this bit up because I probably stirred for about 5 minutes. Referring back to the destructions about 3 times, everything was looking good, so it was time to add the ink or the dye or whatever it is, I don't know. So I'm just going to go for a bit of a swampy look and just stir that again for another couple of minutes just to get all the bubbles out, and then it was on to the actual pour. So here goes, ladies and gentlemen, the first ever resin pour, and I did this bit with this stick because I'd seen other YouTubers do it and thought it was quite cool, which I quickly don't adopt later on and just decide to pour it all in because I don't see many bubbles. So I just pour it all in, and then it was a matter of sweating because I was waiting for it to leak, basically. So waiting like a child for Christmas Day to come around, nothing had leaked. Everything had stayed where it was supposed to be. So it was on for the next pour. And again, I made this a little bit too dark, but not to worry. I was just happy that nothing had leaked and everything was going swimmingly well. So second pour went in with, again, no drama. So big pat on the back for me, and on to the third pour after this second pour. Or was this the third pour? No, this was the second pour. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, enjoy. And so after another 24 hours, I decided to put some Mod Podge on, and using my airbrush, just tried to give the Mod Podge some ripple effect so it looked like the water was moving. Then went on to, once that was dry, just do a little bit of dry brush, and it was on to the glamour shots. So thank you very much for sticking by. I know quite a few of you would have zapped on to the finished product. I hope you'll go back and watch the entire process. So yeah, that was my first resin pour. Everything went to plan, everything was good, and thanks for stopping by. And until next time, keep scratching that build, everybody.